Musk and Bezos want to put millions of data centers in space, and experts say it could be catastrophic for our planet. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, the chiefs of SpaceX and Blue Origin, are pushing forward with plans to put millions of orbital data centers in space. And a growing group of space industry experts and environmental groups are warning that these massive facilities could release staggering levels of pollution that would probably alter Earth's atmosphere and be catastrophic for the planet. A new petition has been filed demanding a thorough review of their environmental impacts before those plans move forward, and the stakes are higher than most people realize. According to The Guardian, tech companies have collectively proposed millions of so-called orbital data centers and are pressing forward with plans that require Federal Communications Commission approval. The two biggest names behind these proposals are SpaceX, led by Elon Musk, and Blue Origin, led by Jeff Bezos. These are essentially data centers floating in orbit, powered by sunlight and cooled by the vacuum of space, designed to process massive amounts of data far from the ground, where traditional infrastructure is running out of room. Among the key concerns, pollution from satellites and rockets burning up upon re-entry appears to be accumulating in the stratosphere at alarming levels. The spacecraft release black soot, rare metals, aluminum oxides and other pollutants with largely unknown effects on our atmosphere. Each launch and re-entry adds more of these particles to a layer of the atmosphere that is already struggling with climate change impacts. The Guardian reports that this is not a small amount of pollution, but a growing cloud of debris that experts are watching with increasing concern. Some scientists fear the pollution could destroy the ozone layer, potentially expose some people to higher levels of ultraviolet radiation, or help further destabilize the planet during the climate crisis. The petition points out that millions of satellites would also create a major source of light pollution, disrupting astronomical observations and the natural night sky. The pollution could also end up back on Earth, meaning these data centers might solve one problem but create another. The petition was filed by the Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility, which calls for a pause on new licenses for space data center projects. The petition argues that the plans violate federal law, noting that the data center companies describe their plans in grandiose, civilization-changing terms. But the same proponents have refused to embrace any inquiry into the impacts of their self-claimed epochal technology on the environment, science, economy, or other values. In other words, they want to build something massive without first checking what it will cost us. So why would anyone want to put data centers in space? According to commenters on the original post, the main benefit is access to solar power. In sun-synchronous orbit, you can get solar power 24/7 without the day-night cycle that limits ground-based solar. Without atmospheric filtering, solar power is more efficient in space than on Earth. Another factor is the fairly lax approval process compared to Earth, where nobody is protesting water contamination, electricity draw, or noise pollution. But the practical challenges are enormous. One commenter pointed out that heat dissipation is insanely harder in space than on the ground, and the radiator arrays needed for each data center would be bigger than the entire International Space Station. Others raised concerns about serviceability, leaks, space debris, and the sheer cost of launching equipment to orbit. One person summed it up by saying they might put a rack's worth of servers up there just to say they did it. But from pretty much every aspect, it is an awful idea. Beyond the technical concerns, there is a broader skepticism about the real motivation behind these proposals. One commenter argued that this is about boosting flagging stock values for adjacent companies by exciting investors who do not know any better. Another pointed to the AI bubble, saying it has proven how scientifically illiterate most investors are, citing Musk's promises of colonies on Mars, robots in every home, flying cars, and AGI as examples of people desperate for a sci-fi future without understanding the scientific pitfalls. One person even compared it to the scene in Glass Onion, where the genius billionaire is revealed to be a complete idiot. The bottom line is that space data centers are a fascinating concept with real technical merit, but the environmental risks are significant and largely unexamined. The petition to the FCC is a critical first step in forcing accountability before millions of these facilities are launched. As one commenter put it, they are not going to actually do this, and even treating this seriously as a threat is just helping them hype their next vaporware nonsense. But with millions of potential data centers on the table, it might be worth listening to the experts who say this could be catastrophic. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Orbit Reports brings you the latest space news and analysis straight from the source. See you in the next one.